The Struggling Artist Record Club is a vinyl record subscription service where I hunt and curate the best punk and punk-adjacent music out there and mail their record to your door each and every month. Imagine finding your new favorite band from across the country without ever having to leave the house. It doesn't get much better than that. The excitement of discovering new music just got that much easier. As a member of the Struggling Artist Record Club, you are going to receive some of the best music you've ever heard from bands you may never even heard of. Whether you've been collecting records for years or just starting out, the Struggling Artist Record Club is designed specifically for you. And right now, all new members get a Struggling Artist Record Club exclusive along with the monthly selection. So head to StrugglingArtistRecordClub.com, pick a membership, and start building that collection today.
Hey, this is Rev from the Drowns, and if you still believe in rock and roll, then keep the dial set here at the Struggling Artist Podcast.
You're listening to the Struggling Artist Podcast.
People need to be entertained. They need the distraction.
With your host, Trev Allen.
I wish to God that somebody would do something to block out the voices in my head for 5 minutes.
So the weather's been really bad lately, which means that sometimes I need to drive our dog around. Sometimes we go to the pet store, sometimes we go to the dog park, and she really hates being in the car. It makes her really anxious. I think she must have had some trauma when she was really young before we got her. But weirdly enough, she's okay with flying, but only if it's on one airline. Lufthansa. God, I'm so sorry.
Check.
All right. Good morning, good evening, good day. This is your host and friendly neighborhood coffin salesman, Aria Rad, here with another installment of Underground Noise for February 2026. Can you believe it? And I want to send a special shout out to all my New Englanders surviving out there. You know, maybe you have to wait at the bus stop with your shoes just full of fucking icy slush. Maybe someone in your neighborhood stole your space saver. Or maybe just the sheer amount of shoveling you had to do reminds you of the crushing weight of depression.
Shout out mental illness.
And you need to go inside and just cool down with some propaganda. We're all allowed at least one propaganda show as a treat. But yeah, to start this conversation off, I want to talk about the most northern band we're going to be talking about today, and it's Lepra from Portland, Maine. They have a new single out called Magician's Gambit, and it is strange and cool and weird. So I guess you could loosely describe Lepra as a black metal band, but there's a lot of like goth rock atmospherics that go throughout their tracks, and a lot of like punk attack. Like, there's a really fun way they kind of, like, attack the track that really makes it, like, pop out. So it's not just some, like, sinister, mysterious, opaque black metal kind of thing. And it's really cool. I love all the stuff they put out so far. And I'll play a little bit for you right now so you can get a sense of what I mean. Yeah, it's like they encapsulate a lot of different sounds, but meld it together to a very singular, unique, strange vision. And if you like that, definitely check out their last EP. It's quite an adventure. And as you can imagine, when I said northernmost release, I was only talking about America because I have one further up. Montreal duo Tolum have released their new album entitled Marionette, and Tolum is a electronic post-rock duo of sorts, and their sounds kind of vary album to album between more delicate melodies and then more glitchy, intense stuff. And this new release I liked a lot. There's a sort of noir feel to it that I can't quite put my finger on. And honestly, some of the song compositions sort of feel like jazz, not in the way that they're like swung, but the way they sort of organically open up and expand to like a new place by the time you're at the end. It's not like one constant build on the same thing. It's not like random glitches and departures. It feels very organic the way they move. And this is their 7th release, I think, since 2020, so it makes sense that they're getting that kind of organic feel from probably doing this so long. But yeah, if you need a meditative instrumental album to go on your snowy late night walk, highly recommend this one. And while we're dealing in a focused emotional zone, I gotta shout out the new single from Circus Trees called How to Forget. And I've been following this band for a while. I first saw them in 2018 when we played a show together, and I was very taken with their enormous sense of despair and the incredibly heavy, moving music that went along with it. And since then, they've only gotten tighter and more massive in their sound. It almost feels like a really heavy post-rock approach to emo. But on this song, they peel the atmosphere down a little bit for a much more direct and kind of hard-hitting track while still just being brutally emotionally crushing. So let's play a little bit of it for you. Yeah, it's like even when they're in the grunge zone, there's a lot of moody movement to the songs that are just really cool. Definitely check them out live if you ever get a chance. Incredible, massive live performance they have. And yes, while we're talking about the really heavy, moody stuff, I'd be remiss if I did not shout out the new single from Slow Quit called Capital as Community. This song is coming out on a new split they have with Helens in March 2026 via Pleasure Tapes. And I've talked about Slow Quit on the show before, but they have such a massive dystopian wall of melodic heavy guitar work with these really eerily atmospheric vocals that just sort of capture this whole dark urban sort of soundscape. And I'm really looking forward to hearing the rest of the tracks on this split. And there is indeed a lot of crazy good stuff to look forward to, and one I'm really stoked about is the new record coming out in March from Black Beach. It's called Male Thief, and they dropped a single called Broken Glass, and it has that incredibly eerie, slightly sexy subterranean twang, sort of in the vein of someone like Roland S. Howard, but like with this incredibly heavy, mean rhythm section behind it. It's so fucking cool. I'm so excited to hear this whole record. Let me play you a bit of this song right now. It's awesome. I could get lost in that lonesome tremolo reverb sound for fucking ever. If you need a one-way ticket to my guts, it's just twangy reverb, evil cowboy music, evil surf music. The Venn diagram between cowboy music and surf music is much more like a circle than most people would care to admit, okay? But I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, it's 2026, I need music to fucking smash something. And that's why I was so happy and surprised to see there's a brand new EP from Pennsylvania's Flipside. That's FLPSDE, Oi, and hardcore punk from Pennsylvania. And so I've mentioned this band before. Some of their core members, Travis and Chris, both play in the Bad Ups, who have released one of my favorite melodic punk records in recent memory. But Flipside really has its own identity, but there is a strain of that melodicism that carries over, because Oi can be a very melodic genre when the singer can sing. I'm not saying the singer needs to be able to sing in Oi or hardcore. It's certainly not a requirement, but there's probably like 10% of Oi singers who are like really incredibly melodic singers. And Flipside walks that perfect balance between aggressive and slightly hooky while beating your face in. It doesn't lose the aggression for the hook, but there's these little hooks and little guitar things sort of snuck in there that really make the songs go hard. Let me play a little bit. Yeah, there's that beautiful stack of vocals, a little bit of echo, a little bit of reverb, some subtle guitar stuff. This is really the kind of thing where I'm like, it may seem deceptively simple on the surface, but there's a lot going on under the hood, and that really makes tracks like this hit and bands like this feel like a cut above a lot of other ones in their field. And this next record I want to talk about, when I heard about it, it just seemed like ambitious in pure thematic scope. So the band is New Hampshire's Agenbite Misery, and the record is called Remorse of Conscience. And when I heard about it, it is a narrative retelling of Ulysses by James Joyce in album format. Maybe calling it a pure narrative retelling would not be completely accurate. That might be a bit reductive, but this is an incredibly ambitious black metal sort of record. And what I love about this record is it moves your mind to a new kind of dark, heavy place. And you need to let the record do its work. For me, it took the first couple songs for me to really sit in the mood of the album. But after that, I was totally locked in for the entire duration. They kind of move across different sorts of styles in very gradual shifts, so it never feels like there's any kind of genre hopping, but there's some elements of post-punk and doom and a lot of other heavy genres mixed in that don't feel like they're just sort of pasted on. It feels like a very cohesive piece. Really wonderful record. Highly encourage you to listen to the whole thing as one continuous piece. I think that's the best way to really experience something like this. And one more record I want to talk about that is a sort of buy the ticket, take the ride sort of situation is the new record from Daniel Bachman entitled Revolutions. I've always found his work really interesting. He's gone from sort of solo guitar to sort of building these beautiful, strange sound collages using various instruments. And this record is in many ways a droneful meditation on climate change, or more accurately, climate disaster and climate emergency that we're headed towards. And I think it's important both to listen to this and sort of engage with those ideas, because I don't think there's a lot of artists really talking about that. He seems to be the most vocal one that I follow and that I'm aware of, to be honest. And I find his work really powerful, really interesting. So if you kind of want to step outside your comfort zone and give something 40 minutes of your time, I think this record is really worthwhile. The next thing I want to shout out is the brand new single from Makeshift Hammer from Philadelphia. They're a blues folk duo, and their new song is called Driftwood Soldier, which should not be confusing since that was formerly the name of their band that is now recently rebranded as Makeshift Hammer. But more importantly, the song's great. It has a really seedy, almost vaudevillian kind of vibe. Maybe I'm going beyond the pale with that one, but it's a really cool song, really well recorded and well performed. And when this drops, they're going to be on tour for the weekend that this is out. So be sure to see them if you're in the New England area. And now coming up on our final item I want to talk about today is the new record from Connor Storms called Shadow Kid, which is out everywhere today. So I'm really excited about this. Connor Storms, famously of Boston folk punk band Connor Storms and His Bouquet, his music in that band is normally very jubilant, very hooky, despite it still being a folk operation at the core. It's very lively, it's very exciting. A lot of the songs sometimes remind me of like middle era Pogues. There's a few of them that sort of remind me of like Hell's Ditch era Pogues. Not in like the Irish way, but in the sort of way I can't explain. But he's always put out really consistently awesome music. But I was really looking forward to this because it's his first solo release in a while, and it's strikingly different in terms of the songs are a lot more austere, a lot more inward focused, and a lot of times a lot more moody. And so I'm really excited for people to hear this record. It's really wonderful addition to his canon. So I'm going to leave you off with the song Shadow Kid by Connor Storms. But before I do, I just want to say thank you so much for listening. If there's anything you heard about today that you really enjoyed, that stuck with you, that you never heard of before, please drop me a line and let me know. That would make my day. And if you are releasing something new, or your friend is releasing something new that you want to promote here on the show, please drop me a line. You can send me an email at aria@thestrugglingartistpodcast.com, and we'd love to talk about what you have going on. So anyway, be well, hope you have a wonderful day, and floss your teeth.
There, not if I see you first. I play it close to the chest, cause that's where it hurts. A loner, a loser, complicated wreck. If being in love's just like being alone, then being lost is being at home. Shadow kid with a silver spoon and asphalt breath. Dirt till your nails turn black, and hold on to yourself cause there's no turning back. I'm loathsome with poison in my veins. Break my bones till I'm small as possible. Twist my heart till it feels responsible. Mouth full of cobwebs, eyes full of rain. Hear the shadow kid running up the stairs. Open the door and see nobody there. Hear the shadow kid running up the stairs. Open the door and see nobody. We don't forgive. Glory to the shadow kid. Nothing gets out, nothing gets in. Glory to the shadow kid. We don't forget, we don't forgive. Glory to the shadow kid. Nothing gets out, nothing gets in. Glory to the shadow kid. Hear the shadow kid running up the stairs. Open the door and see nobody there. Hear the shadow kid running up the stairs. Open the door and see nobody there.